everybody, and welcome back. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Christian Skoggs, and the worst movie of 2024 already dropped. It's the beginning of February, and the movie season is already looking pretty stellar, I can see. Yeah, have you ever heard of the movie Argyle before? The Henry Cavill, Dua Lipa, Bryce Dallas Howard spy movie directed by Matthew Vaughn of Kingsman fame? You probably have, because you've seen the trailer before every single movie you went to for the last 4 months. It's gotten so bad that I think I can basically recite the entire trailer as it plays out. The book is phenomenal, sweetie, but what happens next?
It's called a cliffhanger, Mother.
Ellie, it's called a cop-out. And then I'm not doing the rest of the trailer. You get the idea. I know this trailer pretty well. I was excited to see this one. I'm a fan of the first Kingsman movie. Not the follow-ups, but the first movie I liked. The trailer, as annoying as it was to watch over and over again, was pretty good. I also liked the premise, even though it was familiar. A movie called The Lost City with Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum literally had the same premise, except it was an adventure movie rather than a spy movie. And you know, despite the negative reviews, I really wanted to give this a chance. It can't be that bad, right? Right? The movie does, in fact, tell the story of a lonely woman named Ellie Conway, who is the author of a series of very successful novels centered on the adventures of a spy named Argyle. Argyle is, in fact, played by Henry Cavill, and the sequences with him, Dua Lipa, John Cena, and Ariana DeBose are the fantasies that Ellie has as she writes her books. It turns out her novels are beginning to mirror real life, and she has to go on an adventure with Aiden, played by Sam Rockwell, to figure out why this is happening. Also, Aiden and Ellie are the only two names that I remember, so I apologize in advance that they are going to be called that, and then the other characters are... I'll sign them names later, I don't know. So I'll give it that the first, 20 minutes aren't that bad. I would say I have the same experiences with the first few minutes that I would at a Fast and the Furious movie. Yeah, it's not very good, but whatever, I'm decently entertained. Where the movie began to show signs of collapse was when I noticed how slow this thing was moving. I think we were 25 minutes in and still on that train, trying to escape the bad guys. Despite the goofy, zany nature that it's all presented in, it really takes its time in progressing the story along. I think the filmmakers thought they could show off some clever banter between the characters, but the reality of it is that this dialogue sucks. The script is filled with really lame one-liners and zingers that are not only unfunny, they're just lazy. Even in the first 5 minutes, John Cena's character has a line and it's like, I am enjoying a nice iced coffee for your information. I don't know, something stupid like that. I can't really remember. Also, Sofia Boutell's character has a line where she says something like, you know why they call me the keeper of secrets, right? It's because I keep them. What? It turns out the writer of this movie is Jason Fuchs, a young guy whose most famous work is Ice Age Continental Drift and Pan. Yeah, you remember Pan? That terrible Peter Pan prequel movie where Hugh Jackman plays Blackbeard and makes a bunch of enslaved children sing Nirvana with him.
When the lights out, it's as dangerous. Here we are now. Hesitate us!
What? Now look, this guy is fairly young, so I can't help but feel like he has the potential to maybe improve as a screenwriter, and coming from someone who is working to become a screenwriter in the industry, I don't want to bring anybody down on this channel. I may go hard and really trash a movie, but one, I would want others to criticize my work and tell me what's wrong so I can personally improve, and two, my reviews are never intended as personal attacks against any of the creators of a movie. That same kind of criticism I can give to this guy is one that I would give to Julia Michaels for her songs in Wish. Yeah, she's young and has potential, but both are equally inexperienced and not really ready for big budget projects like this. So Jason, my man, if you happen to come across this video, I'm truly rooting for you, but this screenplay is not good. The other thing that ruins the movie is the visual effects. It's all very CG heavy and really takes you out of the action. I understand that Matthew Vaughn tends to create action scenes that are very over the top and larger than life, but like, he's gotta find a way to make it look good too. The problem with bad VFX is that when a movie like this looks fake, it causes your movie to lack any stakes. When the danger isn't present, there's really no reason to be invested or give a shit about anything you're watching. Now, I understand that VFX artists are already way overworked and exhausted, and so I can't help but imagine that this was probably a nightmare to work on the VFX side, but I don't know. I think the main takeaway from this is that big budget productions need to give their VFX artists plenty of time to get their work right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I could have waited a few months to watch this shitty movie if it meant that the VFX artists were properly compensated for their work. I'm just saying. But before I keep going, I should give a spoiler warning because I am going to be talking about specific aspects of the story. I say everyone keep watching so you can be spared of this terrible experience, but if you still insist that you need to see it, come back after you watch it and then we can recover from the trauma together. Are you ready? Here we go. So aside from the poor pacing, lack of stakes, bloated runtime, awful VFX, and awful dialogue that surround this movie, there are also lots of twists. Now don't get me wrong, I like a good twist. Good twists can make a movie really cool and you can recontextualize everything that you've seen in a movie previously. If you do a twist correctly, your movie has insane rewatchability, and that makes a movie fun. But the problem is that these twists suck. They are ridiculous and make no sense. Motivations of the characters are constantly changing, and it got to a point in the last 45 minutes of the movie where I basically completely checked out and was confused as to what the hell I was even watching. Who was the good guy? Who was the bad guy? What are the goals here? I don't even know. So I guess let's break down these twists, shall we? After Ellie goes on her adventure with Aiden, she overhears him saying that she needs a bullet in her brain on the phone. She obviously is distressed by this and runs away. She calls for help from her parents and they come and stay in a hotel with her. The first twist we see is that Bryan Cranston, who plays the bad guy that has been chasing our two leads up until this point, is actually Ellie's father. Okay, that's kind of cool. I guess where are we gonna go with this? So Aiden rushes to the hotel, finds the parents, and Bryan Cranston has a violent encounter with Aiden. The mom then puts a gun to Ellie's head, implying that both are in on the operation. Okay. Aiden and Ellie then escape, and they have a heart-to-heart where Ellie is like, you said you wanted to put a bullet in my brain. Like, you were gonna kill me. That's not okay. That scared me. I have anxiety, so you can't say that about another person. And then Aiden's all like, nah, girl, I didn't mean it like that. Like, nah, I was just being like hyperbolic, you know? Like, I wasn't trying to say anything out of pocket. Like, my bad. That was fucked up. Okay, sorry. Their travels eventually lead them to Samuel L. Jackson's character's house, where it turns out Ellie Conway is the real Agent Argyle. So you see, Ellie's real name is actually Rachel Kyle. Kyle. Get it? Get it? And she was brainwashed after an accident that left her with amnesia. It turns out that Bryan Cranston and the mom are actually plants that went in and pretended to be Ellie's, Rachel's parents, to brainwash her into a life of normalcy. She then uses a journal given to her to write the stories of Argyle, which it actually turns out are just her experiences written for her on the page. I don't know if they explained why they wanted to do this to her. I don't know. None of the motivation makes sense to me. What the fuck is going on? Why am I watching this? Why would you want a former agent to be spilling the beans on what happens in your agency, albeit through a fictional world? What value does that give to you? Why does Bryan Cranston want Rachel to be brainwashed to be an anxious writer? Especially a few scenes later, and he's all like, they turned you from a lion to a lamb? Dang, man, that shit's crazy. What value does that give him or her? Or what's the point here? A few moments later, she's working for Bryan Cranston, torturing Aiden for info. Then she's in love with him and trying to help him break out. Then she's working for Bryan Cranston again a few minutes later, trying to find where Samuel L. Jackson is. And then she's helping Aiden again, and then she's going back, and then she's da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Whose side are we supposed to be on here? And then I fell asleep for the last 20 minutes, and I don't know. I think the mom and Bryan Cranston are defeated. They blow up the ship where the bad guys are on. I don't know. I was out, in all honesty, but I was gonna leave anyways. I could have gone to like a bar downtown, but I don't know. I guess I got a nice nap in the Dolby chair, so whatever. I don't care to see what I missed at a round 2 showing. It's time to move on with this one, man. It's a lost cause. So obviously not a fan. Even though my expectations dropped after the reviews released, I still find myself extremely disappointed with this one. I'm kind of at a lack of words and don't even truly understand what I watched. I really wish I just left and did something else the night I watched this. Your time is more valued doing literally anything else. I promise, but skip it, please. I'm begging you.